Thank you so much for allowing me to take a quick interruption to see where I was in the roster of questions to help you with my application process. As I noticed, there are a few more questions on the roster that you're needing help with. First, do I take any medications? The only kind I take are primarily over-the-counter, such as aspirin, Bayer, Tylenol, Sudafed possibly for sinus problems. Since they're over-the-counter, since they're very easy to administer myself, there would not be any difficulties of merely putting the pill into my tongue and swallowing with water. In response to the question, what is my home life like? That's a very good question. Presently, I live in a small studio. It's a small cottage. It is situated in the slightly urban, somewhat suburban area of the south side of Balboa Park. It is right next to a bus stop. I have been living there for some time. My employers wouldn't have a problem with my having a dog, seeing I am presently not employed. I am a student, and there are just too many people hoping and waiting for me to possibly train with a dog. The only problem I would foresee is having as many supports to share with people when is the best time to visit and when it's not the best time to visit, so as not to interrupt our training. That would be the only problem I would foresee. Many people would be so impressed by the dog and want to meet, want to greet, and sadly, I would not want to be unkind, but I would need the educational insights how to best inform and help the public and let them know when and if there's a good time to visit. So that would be the only item I foresee as a scenario. As for relieving the dog, I already envision how that would happen. At the end of my driveway, there is a trash can that would enable me to discard the dog's droppings. It would be a standard curb. There is some grass for safety's sake, if that would be a better option. It would enable me to quickly pick up after the dog. The trash can is at the end of the driveway, and as a result, no one would step into anything, and it would be the quickest way of relieving the dog and relieving of any potential mess or unpleasant relations with neighbors, which by securing that spot would maintain good relations with a potential neighbor. As for my neighbors, families, or friends, the only problem I can foresee is that my neighbor upstairs has a cat. He's not quite convinced that cats and dogs can live happily. He's not quite convinced a guide dog can ignore a cat. He is more of a cat person. He's not very dog friendly, which is understandable seeing we all have our particular likes and dislikes. I think that would be the only issue to resolve with my neighbor. He has asked if I would be pursuing a guide dog. I left it uncertain because I felt that would be the best way so as not to make an already difficult problem more so. I told him I was thinking about it, and as always, I'm constantly thinking about getting a guide dog. seeing it would allow me a greater sense of mobility, independence, and again, the ability to just maneuver just like everybody else. In quickly looking over the questions, I believe I've answered pretty much everything.